Okay, we're all here at the planer now. You've jointed one edge of your board on the jointers. Now we're going to clean the faces of the board up. Now we can, if the board is thick enough, we could actually do all four sides, so we're doing the edges and the faces. But typically we're only going to be doing the faces when we're running through the planer. Now, the way this machine works, because I think you need to understand it, is right here as it goes in, this is the in-feed side, where's the back side, and then the out-feed side of the machine. As it goes in, there's a roller underneath right here, an in-feed roller spinning like this. It grabs a hold of your board and pulls it in. In the center, there is the cutter head that is spinning towards you, and then behind the cutter head, there's an out-feed roller. So the distance between the in-feed roller and the out-feed roller is about 10 inches with the cutter head in between. Now, if we didn't have the in-feed roller or the out-feed roller, there'd be no way to ensure our board pushes through the machine. Now, because our in-feed roller and out-feed roller are 10 inches apart, that tells us something very important to know about our workpiece. What do you think? What does it tell you? Exactly. If we have a piece that's less than 10 inches and we try and send it through there, it could get stuck underneath the cutter head with no way of pulling it on out. Because the in-feed roller will let go before the out-feed roller gets a hold of it. Okay? Now, if you do have a board that's about, say, 8 inches and you need to plane it, there is something you can do to plane a board that's 8 inches. What you would need to do is get a second board that is the same thickness as your board that you're going to plane, and it needs to be at least 10 inches or longer. And then you put it directly behind your board, start your piece, and then that one directly behind it, it will push it on through. But if that second board is not 10 inches or longer, then it's just going to get stuck. So that second board has to be at least 10 inches or longer. But that's how this machine works. It goes in, the in-feed roller grabs it, cutter head spinning, shaves off 1/16 of an inch, is the maximum amount of material we want to remove when we're running the plane. Goes through, the out-feed roller pulls it on at the back side. Okay. Now the in-feed table right here, you want to make sure that your hands are never extended past the front of the in-feed roller. So when my board's going into here, like this, so to speak, my board's going in, my hand's going to stop right here. The rollers are going to pull it on through. I don't need to put my hand over on top and extend it in this way. It just is too much of a risk of a finger getting caught into there and having a problem that way. So always keep your hands out in front of the in-feed table. Now, as the board comes out, you obviously want to come around and catch it so it doesn't fall to the floor. If we have a longer board that's say 4 feet or longer, we need to make sure that we are supporting the ends of the board. We have a really long board sticking clear out here. We need to support it so it's level with the table. If we don't, it's going to want to go like this. The way the board is going to try to pull it down, which forces the front end of the board up towards the cutter head. And then as it comes out the outside, we need to support it. If we don't, then you can see the problem. The weight of the board trying to pull it down. And that will cause what we call a snipe, or it can cause what we call a snipe. And a snipe means that in the back inch or two of your board, because of that weight pulling down, pushing that up against the cutter head, it makes it a little bit thinner right there on the ends. So we'll do that on the front end as it goes in, and then on the back end as it comes out. So that's one thing you want to make sure it's supported. When you feed your board into the planer, it's preferable to turn it at just a slight angle, not a real big angle like this, but just a slight angle going in. That way the cutter head, the rollers, everything, as it grabs the board, it starts with the corner, and it easily pulls it in there, and you get a smoother, clearer cut. If you go straight in, a lot of times what will happen, it goes in, and then it kind of hits going through on the rollers, and sometimes it gets stuck. And then it leaves a little mark where the cutter head's stuck on it, where it's been spinning, and it's open. So just a slight angle as it's going in. Now, we've talked about the shortest board. We need to talk about the widest board now as we go through the plane. Obviously, the distance between these two pins right here is the widest that can go through in a single pass. These are 25 inches apart, so we can plane up to 25 inches in width through this machine. Now, if we've got a big wide piece, close to 25 inches, of the depth of cut, we may want to back that off. Remember, our depth of cut typically is 1/16 of an inch. We're running through here. But if it gets up to 25 inches, we may want to back that off to a 32nd of an inch, so that it's not overworking the machine trying to take off all that material. Okay? Now the narrowest this way on our board, that we can run through there, is simply determined by what, we can go down as narrow as we want, as long as it's still stable. If it gets so narrow that it wants to tip on us, because it's so narrow this way, then it isn't going to work well. Okay, so the narrowest, we can go down to 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch wide, and it'll go through just fine in this direction. The thinnest, we're talking this way now, the thinnest we can ever run through there, or take our board down to through there, I should say, is 1/4 of an inch. We wouldn't try to go less, because we do not want this table coming up close to where it can contact the cutter head, and thus, of course, damage the cutter head and the table of the machine. 1/4 of an inch is the thinnest we're going to run through. All right, we need to talk about setting the planer now to the right thickness. We need to know some things about our planer, or not our planer, our board, before we can set the planer. What do you think we need to know about that board you have and we're going to run through it? Come on, somebody's got to know it.
How thick it is?
Okay, we need to know the thickness. If we do not know how thick the board is, we're going to have a tough time knowing where to set the thickness to here to remove a 1/16 of an inch off the face of it. How do we find the thickness of a board? Right, we get a measuring tape and we measure it. Okay? Riley, if you go right in my office right there, there's a box with some measuring tape in it, sitting on the floor. Oh, that'll work. Yep. I forgot to grab one before we start. All right, here's a measuring tape. We have to measure the thickness of our board like that. Okay, now I actually prefer to line it up on the 1 inch mark like this and measure to the 2. Because sometimes that little hook on the end of your tape doesn't quite, it's hard to keep it lined up exactly right. It might be slightly off. So I measure off to 1 and I go up like that. And this shows me that I'm 15/16 of an inch thick. Okay, so we're just 1/16 less than a full inch thick on this. So knowing that we're 15/16 thick, and I want to plane off 1/16 of an inch, what would I set this to for my first pass to the plane? Melissa, say it again. 7/8 of an inch. Good. Here's your fractions, your math coming into play, right? So 15/16 minus 1/16 equals 7/8 of an inch. And you'll get a lot of practice of doing that. Well, to set that, we have 2 different ways of setting. One is we use this electronic control panel, which is the easiest way. But there's also a manual setting here, where we crank this wheel right here, and we read on the scale here to tell what the thickness is. Well, if we look at this setting right now, on the manual scale, it's saying we're about 1 3/4 approximately. So if we look on the scale here, on the digital readout, it's 1.763, which is slightly over 1 3/4. Just a little, only about 100 of an inch over. So it's pretty close to 1 3/4. Now on this, I'm going to show you this electronic control, how to set it. I'm not going to worry too much about the manual control right now, okay? So the electronic control, the easiest way to set it is knowing what presets are. A preset means when I push a button, like number 1, you'll notice that automatically went in the top window to 0.875, which is a fraction, but it's been converted to a decimal. So we need to understand how to take a fraction to a decimal, so that we know what those are. Well, we have a little cheat sheet right here, actually. You can find 7/8 on here. There's 7/8. The fraction equivalent to 7/8 is 0.875. Or if you get your calculator, you go 7 divided by 8, gives you that same number, 0.875. So by pushing number 1, that gives me in my target window, which is the top one, This isn't the actual setting of the table yet, but that's what we're trying to get to. The start button started blinking, so all I need to do now is push start. And there you see it set us now. Both windows right there show us 0.875, so we know we are set at that thickness. The lower window here is the actual setting of the table. So whatever this one says does not necessarily mean the bottom one matches it. Whatever the bottom one is where the table is actually at. Okay? And that handle should be muted here.
Do you have to turn it off to move the table?
Turn the machine off?
Yeah.
No, you can adjust the table with the machine running. It does not need to be off. So that's a good question. So let's say now I've set it to 7/8. I've run my board through there one time and I want to do the other side. What is 7/8 minus 1/16? Math whiz is in here. You guys are ready to roll. Say it again. 13/60. So number 2, you'll notice now that changed it to 0.812, which is the decimal equivalent of 13/60. Hit start button. All right, preset number 3 right here will set you to 3/4 of an inch, which is a 1/16 of an inch less than 13/60. So come on up closer now so you can see the control panel here closer. So preset number 1, 2, and 3. We've already done 1 and 2. I hit number 3 now, and that changed it to 0.750 in the target window, which means now when I hit the blinking start button, it will set it to 3/4 of an inch. And there we're set. Now I do not have any other presets logged into here right now, but I could go clear up to 9 setting specific dimensions for the table to set it. Now to program it, stay right where you're at because I'm going to show you how to program in a specific thickness now. It's a little bit different than a preset. To program it in, you go to the yellow program button right here, push program, and you'll notice the light started blinking in the top window, which is our target window. Now we're going to go type in our decimal equivalent. So let's say we needed it to be at a 1/2 inch and our board was 9/16 thick right now. We want to go 1 more 16th off. We would go 0.50 because that's the decimal equivalent of a 1/2 inch. Once we punch that in, we hit this bottom right-hand button, which is the enter button. That changes it. So now we have that in our target window completely, and our start button started blinking. We hit start. Now that's taking us right to a 1/2 inch by programming in a thickness rather than just using a preset. Okay, so that's how you program that in. These 2 buttons on the side right here, the 2 green ones, will raise or lower the table manually by just pushing the button. But it's really hard to stop right on the thickness that you need to have doing it that way. It's more accurate to program it in. But if you just need to move it down a ways and then back up, you can use these buttons to do that. Always when you're planing, you want to make sure that you get your table lower than the thickness you need. In other words, just set for a thicker piece and then work your way up to your thickness. Don't try and work your way down to the thickness. Because if you go down and then stop, when you turn the machine on, it actually settles down into the threaded rods that move that table, and your thickness is then off. You become thicker than what you really need. So always come from the bottom up to your thickness. Okay, I think that completes the planer. Does that make sense now on our programming? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of you and have you